Hello everybody, welcome to Menorca Consciousness Group. Thank you for joining us. We've been inspired to put another live on tonight. We're going to be talking about ascension, different aspects of ascension. Then we'll be doing a question and answer, or we can do the question and answer during, and then we're going to be doing some readings. Psychic, spiritual, channeling, I don't know what it'll be, but just to want to say a lovely warm welcome to everybody who's joining us. We was going to go on at 7:30, but we decided to come on early for some reason. Just make a couple of adjustments if that's okay. So just want to talk about one or two events, what's coming up. Hello Lars, is it Lars? Lars Brocky, hello, thanks for joining us. I hope it's Lars. Lars Brocky, thanks for joining us anyway. Lovely to have you with us. So just a few notices as we kind of go into this space. I don't know how long we're going to be running for. Never know. Spirit will probably draw it to a close as and when they're ready. So the idea is to sit back, get yourself a drink, cup of tea, coffee, whatever you're doing. Hello Sue, thanks for joining us. Laura, I thought it was Laura rather than Laura. Anyway, good, that's better. Brilliant stuff. So yeah, just relax, enjoy it, sit back. We're going to be discussing, like we said, the ascension, question and answers, and also some readings at some point. But just a few notices, what we've got, some of the things we've got coming up on Menorca Consciousness Group and on Ethereal Virtual Centre, as you can see in the scrolling reels. We have a lot of things going on both Menorca Consciousness and Ethereal Virtual Centre. Sorry, I've got Spirit with me and they're already like, they're in and they just want to start talking. Okay, so Menorca Consciousness Group, we're finishing off some things, but we've got for the year, but we've got lots of stuff on still coming up before Christmas. So please check out our Facebook page if you wish, if you want to see what's coming up. We do have potentially three new trance courses, trance channeling courses starting in January. One will be trance healing, trance mediumship, and the other will be trance and trance channeling. Of course, we've got the Egypt event coming up in April, so we'll be doing more work on that. Also, before Christmas, we've got the lovely Lizzie Anson. We're going to be doing a live stream with Lizzie next Sunday at 5 p.m. UK, etc. So these will all be out. You'll see them on the screen as we're doing. So I'm just going to say hello to everybody. Hi, Yasmin. Hello, Yasmin. Yasmin, looks like Egypt is on. I thought you might want to know that bit. Melissa, hi Melissa. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're okay. Debbie Pittman. Hello, Debbie. And Karen Berry. Thank you all for joining us. Shaz. Hi, Shaz. Hope you're doing well. Kathy Grange. Hi, Kathy. Alison. Lovely to have you with us, Alison. Thanks for joining us. This is a very strange thing, going through the names and saying hello to everybody. Rach Dunn, I presume. Hello, what's that? Well, hello, sir. Rachel, I should imagine that's Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Oh, it's Raven. Forgot my name is different here. Right then. Yay, finally, whoopee, says Yasmin. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. It's amazing. And Sal, hi Sal, thanks for joining us. So yes, and Tani, what a beautiful name, isn't it? Tani. Lovely to have you all with us. And Carrie, looks like Carrie Dutton. Hi Carrie, thank you. So, and Christine, wow, thank you. Don't know what to say about you guys joining us. So the idea, just relax, sit back, get yourself a drink. And good evening everyone. Hi Carrie, Corey, and Kathy Grange. Hello Kathy. So get yourself a drink, sit back, relax. Hi Patrick, lovely to see you. Have you got the keys with you for that bus? You're going to end up owning a full depot, I think, Patrick. You'll need a fleet at this rate. Anyway, so we're going to be doing a bit of a talk, or somebody is, on ascension. Then we're going to do a question and answer, or you can ask your questions during, and then we're going to be doing some readings. So let's get started with the ascension, because a lot of people, it's on everybody's mouth and on everybody's lips at the minute. So I really didn't know what the title was going to be. Spirit literally put it in. Hello, Sue. Thanks for joining us. Lovely to have you with us, Sue Townsend. The Ascension. Now then, and different aspects. So we're just going to be talking about it a little bit. Of course, it's taking place. Of course, the Ascension is real. That's the first thing. It is happening. And we know humanity is literally the consciousness is ascending through what we can say frequencies and vibrations, what some refer to as the higher vibrations, so to speak. Okay, but I kind of want to, I've got inspired by Spirit to go into it a little bit more in depth, if that's okay, and look at some of the maybe details behind the layers, because it's okay saying there's an ascension taking place. What does it mean? Well, it means all of us, humanity as a whole, collectively is ascending. It might not appear that way. And to some people in the world, they'll probably say there's no chance that's happening because of what's taking place in their part of the world and some of the destruction and disasters and everything what they're going through. When we see through that, clearly we can see that the light is shining. How is the light is shining? Well, the light can only come through if we ascend to reach up to touch it, so to speak. We send our consciousness up to it. But regarding the ascension, there's so many aspects what's taking place in relationship to it. Okay, so how does it work? So basically, our consciousness, and it's going to be interesting because our consciousness, which is different from our awareness. Awareness, we can safely say, is infinite. Our consciousness is a thing what moves through, for some people would say they move through timelines. The consciousness rides what's called the continuum. Okay, it's constantly riding waves and vibrations and frequencies. And what I mean by that is if we imagine ourselves as a spiral of energy, huge swirling mass of energy, our consciousness is riding those frequencies and waves of that spiral. And we're at a point in time now, a point of evolution, where the cosmos is, and it is a cosmic event, the cosmos is emitting light rays, and those light rays are affecting this planet. And of course, we're here in a physical vehicle, physical body, and we're feeling the effects of those cosmic rays, particles, atoms of light. And recently what's taken place is a significant wave has swept through the air. Okay, and as that wave has swept through, we get affected by it physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and on all our other bodies of energy, we'll put it that way. Okay, and of course it's also bringing about global change. And the global change we're seeing every day now, the earth is shifting, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, wind patterns, etc., etc. I'm going to try not to wander off too far on this. Okay, I'm just going to say hello to Linda and Lizzie and Kay Weezy, Francis, Joe. Thanks for joining us, Christine Campbell. So what's happening is this wave, what's in at the minute, but it's recently come in, is sending light particles through us. And it's creating what's called a vibrational change. And I don't want to linger on the vibrational change, but there's different aspects to a vibration change. So we feel various conditions, okay? Sleeplessness, restlessness, irritation, agitation, feeling that we've got different physical ailments and conditions all ripening, coming to the surface, etc. That's one aspect. The light is pushing everything to the surface, or some aspects to the surface, so that we can transform them, keeping it in a nutshell, so we can transform the energies of what we're carrying within us. And as this transformation takes place within us, we then become lighter, because it transforms the old energies into the light, and we feel lighter. So when we're coming out of a vibration change, we feel more elevated and ascended, so to speak, hence the ascension. Now during the vibration change, what happens is we have a tendency to dip down because we're riding a wave. So 1 minute we can go up to a peak, our consciousness goes up to a peak, we're feeling on a high and joyful and happy, etc., excited, and within a few days we can sink back down and go, oh, hang on, and everything starts contracting. So what we've got is a contraction and expansion. Literally, energetically, this is our mind, this is our consciousness, what's been affected very profoundly, very deeply. How does that connect with the ascension process? Well, the ascension process can't take place without a vibration change, without these waves coming in. And those spiritual guides are constantly trying to warn and prepare people to try and be still, rest, get whatever rest you can, relax and not worry or be concerned. Because as the wave passes, then the mind ascends and it becomes more expansive. So when we look at this on a global scale, what we're also seeing is the breaking down, not just the letting go of old thoughts, old patterns, etc. We're also seeing the breaking down of old structures, old institutions, falling, breaking down completely. And they will never be built again with the same energy or energies as what they previously was. So something new has been created through this ascension process. So what we're looking at is many different layers playing out simultaneously. And we're in the middle of it. We are bang in the middle of this ascension process, okay? Now, what does that mean for our consciousness? Several factors, many indeed. It means that we're going to expand, i.e. open up further. And there's implications, positive implications for that. The ascension itself means our consciousness is going to move through many different frequencies. What some refer to as the higher levels or the higher frequencies. I have a tendency not to use that term as if I can help it. Basically, they are finer frequencies. We're ascending, our consciousness is ascending to finer frequencies of awareness. There's a phenomenal simplicity to this. Our consciousness is ascending to finer frequencies of awareness. If we think awareness is infinite, okay? Infinite and all expansive, vast beyond measure, so to speak. And our consciousness is the thing what always exists within infinite awareness. So here we are at this moment. We're going through this change. We're letting go of the old stuff, old patterns, etc., kind of breaking down and dissolving. And the old structures are moving away and completely dissolving. And we're merging out of it, or emerging out of that. We have come to do this. We can clearly say that. We've come to play this, whatever role we're playing in it. Okay. Mediumship, trance, etc. is a part of it because it's helping bring beautiful transmissions through from spiritual guides and spiritual beings, light beings, cosmic beings, etc., etc. And then, of course, we're in this ascension process. We're also expanding our consciousness into the awareness of multidimensional realms and all these wonderful planes of existence beyond the physical. It doesn't just contain the physical. When we're looking at the planetary system, that's physical as we understand it. But this expansion and this ascension is taking us way beyond those things, way beyond. So, spirit, those guides in the light, obviously, in the most beautiful, magical way, are coming around everybody and helping and inspire each one of us in the most wonderful way to help us navigate these waters of ascension, so to speak. Okay, and as we try to navigate them, it's important we start coming together. It really is. I think most people have had enough what's going on this planet at the minute anyway. But it'll only stop when we stop. It'll only stop when our light and the ascension within us takes place, so that we can start breaking those barriers down between humanity and start coming together as a so-called collective, or the oneness can grow and expand further and further. Okay. So what we're looking at as far as the ascension process is concerned is different areas of our life and our existence has been affected. It's also interesting to know that as we ascend and expand, we can't avoid what I'm going to say here. We also descend, because our light goes out in all directions. So the more we open up and the more the consciousness moves through these frequencies and vibrations of awareness within and around us, then that light is emitting. We're transmitting energies, transmitting light in all directions. So where does that leave us? Because if it's going in all directions, it's going to the lower realms, what we can say to lower frequencies. That light is spreading into the lower frequencies. So we can liken it in this way. We may, in a physical form, be existing on lower frequencies. So we're bringing the light in, or the light is coming on, whichever way we look at it. But because we are light itself, we've entered a density of existence. And we expand and ascend and open up. And as we expand and ascend and start channeling the light and transmitting that light, it's going to go into further down into those other densities, what we in a linear term think and believe is below us. Okay. And that's disturbing any energies down there. So we've got the lower frequencies being affected. We've got our own internal frequencies and energies being affected on all levels, mentally, emotionally, and the lot. You all know the list anyway by now. And at the same time, we're expanding and ascending to those wonderful, beautiful frequencies and emanations of light and communicating with light beings now. This is all part of the ascension process. I know there's talk about moving into the 3D, from the 3D to the 5D. Okay, the 4th D is the important bit. Okay, because this is where the cleansing and clearing, etc., is taking place. As we're ascending, we're shifting, we're moving everything off us, i.e., we're transforming the energy. Karma is also connected into this process. We can't dismiss karma, cause and effect. Okay, and we know the more the light shines within us, the more we're changing our karmic cycle. We're clearing the old karmic cycles. To the point where I believe we're still creating karma, because what we do today is going to have an effect on tomorrow. That's karma in its most basic form. And karma is very exceptionally positive. It's not all doom and gloom and bad. It's exceptionally positive, okay, and it's pure. It's in its own form. It's pure, because it's evolution itself, so to speak. Okay. So then, what does it mean for humanity? This ascension, what does it mean for the earth and humanity? Because this is a big question for a lot of people, I know. From my understanding, we're moving to a completely new spectrum of awareness. Interesting, isn't it? A new spectrum of awareness. So it's like, hang on, we're only just getting familiar with this spectrum, so to speak, okay? If we look at this spectrum, what we've been operating on, and the 7 frequencies or 7 planes, if you like, or 7 waves of the electromagnetic spectrum, from the red, i.e. the infrared, the base energies, through to those central middle aspects of the heart, where we start going into the X-ray up towards the ultraviolet frequencies, literally going through the green to the blue, indigo and purple, etc. This is where we're kind of clearing everything on all these vibrations. Okay, they are connected to the chakras. There's absolutely no way about it. Because the chakras are very intricate in this role. The old stuff, what was carried on the chakras now, is loosening up. So that's why people's chakras are opening up and expanding even more. Okay. And then we go, okay, so we've got the seven frequencies of the electromagnetic spectrum. Now we can match them to our thoughts, feelings, emotions, etc., physically, and all the physical states of matter. And now we're just going to go, okay, boom, off we go. We're going to the next spectrum of awareness. This really is what this cosmic event is about. It's not as if we're going to be raised off the planet and lifted beyond it. I don't believe it for a minute. I'm going to use a word I don't normally use, but we in a way, we're anchoring the light, right? We're anchoring cosmic light through ourselves as a vessel or channel or empty space, if you like, a conduit, whatever we want to refer to ourselves as, bringing that light in and connecting it, not just to the earth, but we're connecting it deeper into those planes, what we think are below us, because the light has got to go into there as well. So we've got this complete, almost comprehensive, almost overwhelming event taking place. At the center point of it is pure thought, enlightenment, bliss, whatever we wish to call it. All those wonderful aspects. So the more we offload, and when the more we transform our energies, then the closer we get to that pure light within ourselves, that pure consciousness, if you like, of who we are. And we start living by our conscience. Most of our problems have come because we've been living away from our conscience. That's what tells us the difference between right and wrong. And then we move into that stage where, when we're looking at the ascension again, an aspect of the ascension process is deeply connected to duality, which gives us this divide and division what we've got within ourselves and on the planet. That duality, what says, you know, one side is right, the other side is wrong. And it's like, we're moving past that now. Duality is being cancelled out. Because eventually humanity must come to the realization that there's only oneness, what can be true to reality itself. Divide and division leads to separation. And clearly we can see all the signs, especially in the spiritual space, of people coming together, and that division is dissolving. And when we look at it in a broader level, and we look at it on a global scale, even though we see there's a massive divide and division, there's an undercurrent where you can see people are starting to think and be more conscious of what's going on the planet. And in that process is where humanity is awakening, and helping the ascension process in itself. So anyway, I just wanted to briefly cover those areas. I know there was a couple of comments and things coming on, so I'm just going to try and, so I want to say hello to everybody who's just joined us. Thank you so much for joining us. There was a comment earlier, I think, if we can find it. Karen Berry, fascinating. Life often feels like a roller coaster recently, and I've been drawn to rest, but I felt guilty doing that. I need to cough, I'm sorry, before I answer this. Just need to mute myself. Hi, Karen, thanks for joining us. This is a really good point, because let's put it in perspective. It's funny you mentioned feeling guilty about having a rest, isn't it? I mean, what a ridiculous state we've got ourselves into. Absolutely ridiculous state. Going on a guilt trip just because we're so tired, and if we rest, we feel that it's incorrect. Okay, so dissolve the guilt, Karen, and I'm not going to be, hopefully I'm not going to come across as condescending. So please forgive me if I do. Get rid of the guilt. It's really important. Most spiritual guides, and I'm saying spiritual guides, and I'm saying beings of light, because that's what they all are constantly now at the point inviting us, almost pushing us to rest, because they're seeing, if we look at life from their perspective, they're seeing the hues, the colors, the vibrations, not just around us but within us. They've got the clarity of vision and clarity of consciousness to see through us, so they can see each one of us as individuals and what's required, and the effect what our life is having on us as individuals. And one of the big things what they're saying, what they're seeing, is the need for rest. So recently, and they've been pushing this recently, and what they're saying is, look, regardless of anything, just press the pause button. Especially now there's a waving at the moment and there's a big vibration change happening. Press the pause button. Just rest, be still. Okay, half an hour on the sofa, anything, doesn't matter. Just rest and let the energy come back up. Just let it kind of almost replenish itself. Okay. The roller coaster aspect is, it's clear now. We can say, I mean, I've been studying waves of energy for 30 years now. Oh, I'm pleased. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, for so long I've been studying these waves, cosmic waves coming in. Of course, it affected by them as well. That's what made me kind of start studying them. And it is, in its most basic form, we can say it is like a roller coaster. And stillness is the most wonderful thing what helps us. Because when a wave comes in and it feels too heavy and too dense and we're too tired or fatigued, we just need to try and find that stillness within us. Because in that stillness, it's almost like going into the neutral space. And we're not moving left or right, backwards and forwards. It's like we're just going into that still, quiet zone within us. And everything can just wash over us until the wave has passed. What's meant to ripen and come to the surface will do. So the roller coaster is constant now. Previously, we was looking at waves coming in every 2 years, big waves, cosmic waves. They would come in every 2 years. This was 30 years ago. And then studying them and noticed and feeling the effects when they was coming in, I noticed that gap between the waves, between each oscillation, so to speak, was getting shorter. The frequency of them was speeding up. And that's what we've got at the moment. We know we've got an acceleration process taking place energetically on the planet. And we're talking about light. Everything is light. So there's an acceleration of light. And that's where we're seeing the quickening. That's where more and more people, somebody is awakening every day, spiritually speaking. Well, the roller coaster is connected intricately to the cosmic waves. Funny enough, we had this conversation, I think it was yesterday, and we can safely say now what's happening is previously 2 years, then it was down to 18 months when a big wave came in. Then it was down to like 12 months, then 9 months. So these waves are coming more constant. So 15 years ago, it'd probably been about 18 months. 10 years ago, it was down to 12 months or something. And now where we are currently, there's no question about it. It's like we've been standing at the beach watching this tide come in. And the tide represents cosmic tide, the cosmic ocean. And it's coming in. And definitely now we're standing at the beach and the water's rising up our legs. Some people can literally say, well, I'm already swimming in it. What you know where you are in relation to it. Everybody I would say that's for everybody to think where they are themselves. And then the question is, and somebody brought this up last night, which was interesting. Do we learn to surf do we learn to surf these waves? It's such a beautiful question. Because trying to get on a surfboard at the beginning, everybody's going to fall off. Nobody's the expert. Okay. Sorry for laughing. So it's like, okay, until we've gained our balance, i.e., until we adjust to the energies and frequencies what's in, we're not going to get that what's called balance. It's a state of equilibrium, or we can call it alignment. Okay. As the waves come in, like this roller coaster, what you described, as the waves are coming in, there's a constant readjustment and realigning taking place. And when I say realigning or an alignment, we can say if we imagine the chakras in an aligned state, okay, and a wave comes in and the chakras get affected. Okay, and then the energy what's on those chakras or what's carried within the vacuum of the chakras, the energy gets shifted, it gets interfered with, and the energy within our chakras contains old suppressed thoughts, emotions, etc., old energies. Okay, so the wave comes in, it connects with a chakra in that vacuum of space where we're carrying things. It then alters and shifts some of that energy, and that's why we can say that word shift of human consciousness is happening. There's a shift of human consciousness. It's because there's a shift going on within the very core of our being. Okay, so this ride in the waves, you may be swimming, you might just be ankle deep. One thing is a fact. I've always believed this. One thing is a fact. No one in this planet is going to avoid this tide. No one. There's no high ground where people can escape to and be saved and rescued and unaffected. Ain't going to happen. This is a cosmic tide, and it is like a flood, and it is covering the planet and the rest of the universe and galaxy and cosmos. So any human being, respectfully, every human being is going to be affected, or already is being affected by this change. So even the people what are not what we call awakened yet, respectfully, they're slowly awakening. There's an effect going on within that, and something will give, like it gives to all of us, there's a click, or there's a big explosion, whichever, awakening you've had, and then ping. So that makes so much sense. I have so many old memories popping up from seemingly nowhere. Karen, you know what? I'm so pleased you've just put those words in. This applies to everybody watching at the minute, and everybody around the world. What happens is when the wave comes in, and we've got to keep hold of that word ascension. And remember, it's still kind of we're ascending. So when the wave sweeps in, and it connects and creates that shift within us, it's hitting the old energies, what we've stored there, and have become these like dense, heavy stuff inside us. And like everything else, sometimes we don't know we're carrying something until it's left our shoulders, and we feel relieved and lighter. Okay. So as these light waves affect that, what we're carrying within and around our space, including obviously our auric field, because there's so much to the auric field, it's phenomenal. Okay. There's so much activity and things and aspects going on with the aura. It's not fully understood yet. We won't fully understand the auric field until we get into the 4th, 5th, 7th dimension of understanding. So all the aspects what we're carrying within our field of energy, what now I refer to as a field of energy, the aura, the light is hitting it, and it's just connecting and shifting those old memories, and the old memories just kind of seep through to the surface of our awareness, our mind, and we go, okay. I was in conversation today, literally today, Karen, with somebody who said, I've been thinking about old memories, and I haven't got a clue where they're gone. I've totally forgot all about them. I don't know why they've just all of a sudden appeared to me. And that was today, Karen. And this is a classic case, the old memories popping up, ripening seemingly from nowhere. Okay. We can say confidently, very confidently, that our memory bank, and I don't always like using electronic or that type of thing, but we can safely say our memory is phenomenal. It's like the biggest storage bank we can ever imagine. You know, not what you've got on the planet on a computer. It's way beyond that. And it likes everything to be in perfect order. Perfect order. When we go through our experiences on a daily basis, whatever those experiences are, thoughts, feelings, we're meeting people, talking to people, we're interacting, energetically, there's experiences taking place, because in fact we are the experience. So, but every location, every environment we go in, and if we go back to being a child, when we've landed on the planet, every single experience what we've ever encountered, from the first words we've spoken to the first words we've heard, and everything from there is stored within us. Everything, because we're not just transmitters, we're receivers. We're receiving. We're receptive to. That's why in mediumship we say the recipient, because they're receiving the transmissions from a message. So and we're gathering and collecting all that information. The key is to utilize whatever experience we're taking, what's taking place in any given moment. The key is to utilize that experience, that energy of that experience in that moment, and put it into action. If we don't do that, it's going to be stored somewhere. And if it's not stored in its correct position and place and location, then it will go somewhere else. It will get stored where it's kind of jumbled up, and then so many other memories will do the same. So then there's this build up, and that's the chaotic part within it, what we can say within the subconscious mind. And this light, when the cosmic waves come in, like one's in at the moment, and it hits that kind of area where all those chaotic memories are stored, the light hits it, it loosens that density up, and it throws some of the memories, like you've described, to the surface for us to look at and review. And I wasn't expecting this, but we're just going to go on to somewhere else here, because one of the best things we can do is review our lives on a daily basis, if possible. Review them. So when a vibration change happens, we get the opportunity to have what's called a life review. Okay, just been looking at I've just been trying to look at why they are popping up and releasing them. Absolutely perfect, Karen. Draw to you, let your light transform them. Because, not yourself, Karen, I'm going to make a reference here, which might be beneficial to some people. We've been born into a system where anything we don't like, we've pushed it away from us. And what's happened is that's diminished our light. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. Okay, well, it's already happened. So we've taken it on board and we just put it inside us. We are transformers of energy. We are cosmic transformers. Absolutely no question about it. And as transformers, what we can do, every experience we experience, we can draw that energy, the energies from that experience towards us. So we turn our light up, draw the energy towards us, and that experience, the energy of that experience gets transformed, gets transmutated, or whatever you want to call it, and turned into light. So we have a tendency to go through a very painful scenario. We wait till everything gets bad, it builds up, and then it kind of comes to the surface, and then we can have an outburst or we can have tears, and it's very painful. It doesn't have to be that way. It's only doing that because it's got to come out. It's got to, that energy's got to be transformed. We can't carry it because, in essence, in order to serve the purpose for the ascension, what's taking place at the minute, we need to be empty vessels. By being empty vessels or empty channels, we can channel the light in its purest form and be of most benefit to all the beings. When we go through this sort of painful process, it's only because we didn't do anything in the first place about the experience, the energy of the experience. So we're coming to the point now where intuition is starting to come to the fore. And for many people now, we are intuitively working with the energy of what's present in any given moment. And therefore, we're utilizing that energy, which means we're no longer storing it. So we as energy comes in, we transform it, we utilize it, we put it into action, and we're not carrying it. It means one thing: we remain empty channels. So interesting stuff. I'm pleased you brought that one up, Karen. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you so much. Sarkar, love you been feeling this for so long. What's your thoughts on the higher chakras? So soul star and above. Thank you. Sal, there's lots of beautiful fancy words in there. Okay, let's have a look at this one. What's your thoughts on the higher chakras? Oh, there's a temptation there. Let me just. I'm going to bring the guides in a bit closer, if that's all right. I'm going to open up a bit more. Sorry, I need to cough again because I feel like some of this should be answered as best as it can with the best wisdom we can find. So, what's your thoughts on the higher chakras? So, I would say this, Al, that we need to bear in mind fanciful words. You know, I'm dancing around with words, not yourself, but there's stuff out there going on. There's fanciful words used, and they can dazzle people's, auric fields and sensitivity for a short time until we find the truth behind what's going on, because we're using terminology to express something what really on some occasions can't be expressed on a lot of occasions. What we're looking at when we're talking about the higher chakras, okay, first thing I would say, and this is what I feel is coming, it clearly is, we need to understand the lower chakras first. We need to understand all the other base chakras upwards before we start tripping onto the higher chakras. With the world, what we've lived in has given us, especially in the West, given us this opportunity to everything has been on hand. We can just go online and order something, etc. Is that like snap our fingers and it's there. And we easily, oh, I've got that now, I want something else, got that, I want something else. So the first thing what the guides are saying is, first, it's fundamental that we understand the 7 basic chakras. Okay, that from understanding those chakras, and I'm just going to pause because I want me to point this out, Sal. There's still many minds do not understand what a chakra is. They've got the shallow surface understanding of a chakra. So it's important that we go deeper and deeper. Now, we could take you in there to understand or to give, more reference to what a chakra actually is. But they're pausing me from doing that. Colin wants to do it, but they're going, no, you can't, Colin. So what they're saying is, first learn to understand what a chakra is in its center point as best as the mind can do, or as best as the individual consciousness can understand what a chakra is. Okay, because there's so much more to it than what's commonly believed. First thing, and then when we start looking at what will, as you beautifully referred to as the higher chakras, and even so the soul star and above. Okay, now then, we've then got to understand what the soul is, and why are we referencing something as a soul star? Because, and I'm not knocking you, so I wouldn't do that to anybody, but this is about understanding what we're talking about in its pure form. So let's bring it back one step to the soul. First off, what is the soul? Each one of us as an individual have an image or a visual or understanding or thought of what the soul is. Okay. The second question is, does the soul exist? Is there a soul? Are we just giving a term to something we don't fully understand yet? In the thought that the soul might be, and this is where my thinking is, the soul might be the purest part of us as a being of infinite awareness. Okay, so it's like, what is the soul? So then we go, okay, the higher chakras and the soul star. When we narrow it down slightly, they get me to kind of draw it back down a little bit. We can say, okay, let's look at the 7 basic chakras. We know within that space of the 7 basic chakras, there are more chakras. Not just 1 or 2, a multitude, okay? But when we're talking about the 7 basic ones, and then we go to the one just slightly above the crown chakra, and that's when we start ascending and going through what we refer to as the higher chakras, soul star, etc., etc. Now then, what I can say is this. One of the best ways to understand this, Sal, this is interesting. I wasn't expecting this. One of the better ways to understand this is to imagine and understand that each chakra within us generates a body, an energetic body or field of energy, what we can refer to as another body. So let's say our heart center, so to speak, our heart chakra, its multitude of energies, what's in that space, actually, if we could see it from a distance, we would see it as a body of energy. It's only when we zoom in and lower our frequency of consciousness, come down those planes of awareness, that we then go, okay, I've got a chakra at my heart center. Okay, we zoom back out, we start seeing the bigger picture of that chakra at the heart center, and we start seeing the flowing energy in all directions. If you like, the spiral or the wheel, what's referred to in Sanskrit and Hinduism and Buddhism. Okay, and then we start seeing something else. We start seeing thoughts and emotions what are connected specifically to the heart center, okay, or the heart chakra. And then those thoughts and feelings are not just of this earth plane, they're not just the vibrations and frequencies of thoughts and feelings at our heart from our experiences on this earth plane. They come from an infinite number of lifetimes and incarnations, if you like, previous incarnations. What we, as a being of awareness, have experienced. So there's so much, and we're only just kind of moving just a bit further below the surface when we're talking about this stuff. Okay. So you asked me my thoughts, Sal. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, sorry, I just want to finish that a little bit, if I may. Can you find it again? Sorry. Let's have a look, see if we can bring that back up. Soul Star. Okay. So when we're talking about the high chakras and the Soul Star, what we then can say is if the heart center has a body, so does the throat, so does the solar plexus or the sacral center. Okay. Each one has a body of energy, and each body of energy, and I hope everybody likes this bit, each body of energy also has a chakra system. I think we should take a moment to think what has been said. So if we say each chakra, what we're aware of, the seven, let's say the seven basic ones, each one of those chakras creates a field of energy, what we can call a body of energy. And that body of energy also has a chakra system. Now, what we're looking at here is a multiplication of energies and chakras taking place. We know we've got minimum basic 7, and I'm aware of more, but I'm not going to get fancy and start showing off. Okay, there are more, but I'd just like to stick to the 7 for a minute. Those 7 can be multiplied by another 7, which gives us what? 49, is it? 49 chakras. Okay. So then what we're looking at is a minimum of 7 bodies of energy. Each one, or as a part of each one, vibrating finer and purer than the last one. So and we're back to the ascension, in an ascending fashion. So if you imagine right now, and I know this is coming across a bit too, it's not coming across as soft as I like it. When we look at the concept of 7 chakras, then 7 bodies, and the 7 bodies having 7 chakras, a chakra system, in an ascending order, then where does that leave us or lead us? It's because it leads us somewhere, and it leads us to to a certain point, which is the one you're referring to, the soul star and the ones above. So, okay. But I think there's wisdom in understanding the different frequencies in order to get to those other ones, because we can skip to the other ones. Okay, like an ascension, like when we're channeling, we can just go, okay, I'm just going to go to a frequency of my higher self. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to start channeling. What's coming, what's been transmitted, where's it coming from? Well, it's coming from a purer or higher frequency of ourself. Okay, it's coming from a next vibration of our own awareness. When we're thinking of a spiral of energy, we've moved our consciousness further up the spiral, and we're communicating and transmitting the knowledge and understanding and perception from that point on that spiral of the spiral at that moment, from that specific point of resonance. And then we go further up the spiral, and then we change again. Our perception changes, becomes purer and purer, so to speak. Okay. You've just got me to blast this wide open. I'm going to draw it back in, Sal. That was beautiful, Sal. Thank you so much. Any more thoughts? Any more questions? Let's have it. Isn't the yin and yang effect on everything in life? You need darkness and light for balance. Brilliant, Marion. It is up to this point in evolution. Now it's fading. When I say fading, first I would balance. What we're looking at here is a perception of duality, of living in a realm of duality within our consciousness. Okay, when we think of the yin and yang, dark and light, left and right, up and down, etc., all these linear aspects. Okay, and I agree with it, and I agree with what he's saying. The point we're at the moment with the ascension process is the light and dark concept is now dissolving, because we're coming into that singularity, what we refer to as the middle way. In Buddhism, we refer to it as the middle way, but for me, it's always been the middle way, that center point where there's not just the left and right, there's every other direction around us as well. Our perception, as far as this point of evolution, up to this point of evolution, has been based, and we cognize aspects according to the yin and yang system, if you like. When we look at balance and we dive into that word and we try and find balance, I can guarantee you, you will not find it. No, nobody will find balance. It's a word what now is going to be gone. The closest we can get to is equilibrium, because we know as something comes in, when an energy is placed somewhere, we say, well, that was going to create an imbalance, or it will bring something into balance. In effect, there's motion. There's always motion. So what we're looking at is a state of equilibrium rather than balance. I'm playing with words, but I always swap balance for equilibrium. Equilibrium is the best thing. But I get what you're saying. We can, just to open this up a little bit more, if you like, we know everything is just not black and white as such, as in darkness and light. There's all the grey areas we're talking about. And this then, when we start looking at the yin and yang and left and right, up and down, etc., what we're looking at is and I'm not saying you're doing this, there's almost a limited expanse on our consciousness by doing that. And we need to push those or dissolve those barriers, those self-imposed limitations, which the awakening is doing and the ascension is doing, and because the ascension is causing the expansion. So therefore, we're expanding beyond duality. Because when we're thinking about darkness and light, we've got to also think, well, there's a phenomenal amount of frequencies in between, both of them. So it's not as black and white as what we always thought it was. And even though I agree completely where you're coming from, Marion, if this all makes sense, what we're looking at is a spectrum where our awareness can perceive and understand all the different wavelengths, frequencies, and vibrations of a spectrum in any given moment about anything we're experiencing. Whether it's a conversation with someone like this conversation and looking at different frequencies of what's been spoken here, to what if we do an action tomorrow and we go somewhere, travel somewhere, whatever, there's a massive frequencies connecting to that. And so the light and dark previously gave us that cut and dry situation. Now what we've got is a total myriad of not complexities, but what seemingly and appears to be complex energy systems playing out, and it's not. There's a phenomenal simplicity to everything what's playing out if we've got the clarity of awareness and we're vibrating at a certain frequency and resonance on our own spiral of truth with those beings of light working with us and guiding and leading us to understand what's going on. So that unified aspect now is coming into play. So from where we are with the yin and yang, we're getting closer. And I was going to say this earlier, and you've prompted it. You've prompted it, Marianne. We're getting close to, we're getting very close to the point what's called 0 point, where both sides, right and wrong, left and right, whatever you want to call it, are coming together, and we're reaching what's called a 0 point, bang in the middle. Okay, and when we reach 0 point, both sides are going to be cancelled out, right and wrong, left and right, darkness and light, and so on, divide, division, all the separation. That's all going to be totally dissolved. And what's going to be born out of 0 point is oneness, if that makes sense. So I hope that helps without opening it up a bit further. Does your light energy become weaker when you are at an old age? No, is the straight answer. What happens is this. Wow. So, does your light energy become weaker when you are at an old age? Even though the body, i.e., the physical particles and atoms, can slow down and become denser, the actual light of being doesn't always have to be affected. Now, in some cases, it is, because the mind start drawing in. We're getting close here when you're almost touching the point on the journey to transition from this world to the other. What happens is the light gets gathered. It starts gathering itself into its heart or the brain, whichever one people believe in. Okay, so it starts withdrawing, it comes in. Okay, and it doesn't mean that it's weaker. It basically is just preparing at some point to take a transition. And we've got to understand, really, from the moment we're born on the planet, we think we're going to reach a peak in our physical energetic state, and then it's going to weaken. It's not always the case. We can, I believe, if somebody is let go of and transform all their old energies and old conditions, and got the correct alignment with the light, there can be any age, and they can walk in a room, and that room will be lit up by their light. So the only reason our light dims or becomes weaker is because we allow it. That's all. And when it gets closer to the point of taking transition, and if it does start withdrawing, it's withdrawing in preparation to take its transition. It's a bit like a baby when it lands on the planet. Its light is emanating, it's bursting outwards. That's why everybody goes, oh, because it's the light that people are sensing when they view a newborn baby. Okay, and that light, what we call the life force, is emanating. And the same, but the opposite, we can say, at the point of death, the soul starts withdrawing its energy and starts gathering it back up into its heart, or its brain, whichever one is the last thing to go. And that's why also we see so many people at the point of taking transition, they start eating less food, certain organs start failing slowly. If anybody's witnessed the dying process, it is phenomenal. It's what with a certain minds to see what's going on. It's one of the most phenomenal experiences any of us can have, and one of the most humbling, because you're seeing the light gather itself back before it takes, and that can take weeks, months, whatever it does. And slowly the organs start failing. It's because the life force, the light, is withdrawn from there because it needs to keep the last thing going on a physical level. And then once it steps back, once the light is stepped back, that light is still present, emanating without a physical condition. At that point, when we say it's taking the transition, the soul has literally just come out of the body, or the mind or the consciousness has just slipped out away from the body. Interesting, we may as well put this one in. During the dying process, and I know you didn't ask about this, but during the dying process, okay, that light can still come back in and surprise everybody. That's why some people go, well, they seem to come back to life in the last week. We don't know what happened. They thought they was going to make it. And it's almost like that soul had just gone, woof, I'm coming back. The light shone in that space, and then it started to recede after that. Good point, Marion. Thank you so much. Sorry, I need to cough again. Don't like coughing on the mic. Rohan, nice to have you with us, Rohan. Well, I don't know what to say to that, Rohan. None of us can do this. I can't be sitting here without you sitting there. None of us can. This ridiculous sense that I'm an island unto my own is also thankfully going as well. We are each other. There's absolutely no way. We are each other. Just take your time, Rohan. A little bit at a time. You know, something what you want to. That's what I want to do. I push negative things inside in my head. You're not the only one. We've all done it all our life. Try not to think about them. And yes, you're right. What builds up his own, then explodes out of it. Yeah, I know this one. I know this one very well, Rohan. First thing is respect your own soul. Respect the light of your soul. Because that's key to everything. It's like, just as a side note, it's like, I can never be offended. Nobody can ever offend me. Why? Because if I take offense, that's my mind. That's me doing it. So I choose not to be offended. So nobody can be offended. So when somebody goes, "You're offending me," it's like, really? Where's that happening? It's happening in my mind, Colin's mind. So Colin's had to sort that out. Nobody can insult me. When I say, "Oh, they're insulting your intelligence," like, sorry, they're not. They're insulting their own. Not insulting mine. Mine's fine. Sort of thing. So I'll just put them a couple of ways. I get pushing the negative aspects away because this is what we do. It's like, no, go. What we actually do, we're not pushing them away. We're actually pushing them in, and we're packing them down, packing them and packing them, packing them down. And then the energy comes, exactly what you said, and then boof, and it comes out in the one way. So it's easy for me to say, be gentle with yourself, Rowan. Okay. It is key. It's a big key. We've got to be gentle with ourselves. Humanity is innocent. We need to understand this. Humanity is innocent in what's happened to it. Okay. We've landed on the planet with pure intentions, majority, pure intentions. We've gone through childhood, hopefully most people, laughing, joking, playing with our friends innocently. Everything's free and life and spacious, okay? And then we're met by these earthly conditions, what's been imposed upon us, okay? And then we start thinking in a certain way. Got to do this, got to do that. And for a guy, it's extremely difficult. Thankfully, there's a lot of women's circles and a lot of women's healing and retreats, all this lot's going on at the minute. But also it's going to start coming over to the guys, because guys end up suppressing it. With respect to the females, women know how to cry, and they know there's a benefit to crying. Guys are not taught to cry, okay, because it's a release. It's like, no, because the male aspect has got this, like, they've been in this pride has been kind of brought to the surface. You've got to be proud. You don't cry. You can't be. If you're not a man, if you're going to cry, and all that absolute trash. Okay. So you go, okay, where am I? All right. So there's an innocence to us, and then what we're going to do is try and get close to our conscience and go, right, what's the difference between right and wrong? I need to bring my conscience up more to the surface. Then we can start managing things a lot better and be gentle with yourself. Everybody's got to be gentle with themselves and go, right, I'm not going to try and deal with everything all at once. And I'm not saying it's impossible, because there's rare occasions certain minds can take that. But most generally, we can just go, right, hang on, there's an issue here. That one's come up, I'm going to deal with that. And turn your light up and draw that issue to your light within yourself. It's like, come on then, I'm going to do it. And I can guarantee you, in the small one, don't pick a big one, just take your time with the small ones. Closing our eyes, turning our light up, imagine our lights really shining, that issue is coming towards us, and we go, come on, I need to sort you. I need to transform you as an energy. It will run away from you because it don't want to be dealt with, because you've sussed it, you found it out. And you go, no, 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 come on, you need to come here. We need to get on. We need to transform each other, because you need to be dissolved, and I need to expand and grow. And there's an alchemy in that. When two energies come together, whether it's negative or positive, transformation takes place. And whether there's tears or an outbreak, whatever it is, at least the transformation taking place. And you go, well, whew, okay, I feel lighter for that. And then the next day or next week, pick another one. And go, right, I need that issue. That I'm carrying that from child. I'm carrying that point. Somebody said this to me. Somebody did that to me. And it's like, right, let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. And that heavy load, what you're carrying, Rowan, gradually gets lighter. Don't beat yourself up. Whatever you do, nobody should be beating themselves up. You know, we're stunning, phenomenal beings of light. I can't express it enough. And this is fact. We're probably the most beautiful, magical energy in existence. And some people go, Colin, you can't say that. Yeah, I can. I am. We are. Because we are existence itself. We are the cosmos itself. We can't say, oh, that's beautiful out there, and think, I've got all these problems in here. It's wrong. Why should we do that to ourselves? And the light of our soul is coming up now and going, no, no, come on. There's a pure thing going on inside you. Let it shine. let it shine. Earthly societal conditions, throw them away, put them in the trash, because they've served their purpose. This is, we've moved through evolution, and we're at that point of evolution where, like we said at the beginning, old structures are now falling away and going to be completely dissolved, and the new structures what are going to be built are not going to be built of the same energies. Ain't going to happen. Communities are coming together now. People are building all sorts of phenomenal stuff around the planet at the minute. So thanks for joining us, Rowan. Brilliant stuff. Anybody else? Rose Sullivan. Oh, what was that? Can I have a reading, please? It's very interesting. I believe this is only talk about Ascension. Thank you for coming. No, I appreciate you, Rowan, and join and being with us. This is who we are. You know, it's Colin don't even exist. It's this, I don't know what's sitting here speaking. Don't know what it is. It's like, it's all of us, you know. We can use words interconnected and oneness and all them, and they are beautiful, but we are totally merged with one another beyond belief. Karen Berry, I'm making some big life changes at the moment, and the things appear to have been stuck for the last 12 months or so. So would I be right in saying that seeing this as an opportunity not to push stuff down, but to release it as it's happening, so I don't carry stuff forward in a new life is the best way to go? 100%, Karen. 100%. 100%. I would say this. We are, I wasn't expecting this today. We are beings of emptiness. What we've done is we're landed out on the planet and we've filled ourselves up. And we can ask ourselves, how much have we filled ourselves up with joy and laughter and love and excitement? We're at this point where we're looking at the world and everybody's tired and drained and worn, and like, this is not us. This is not us as a species. We are pure light, and we are beings of emptiness. We've loaded ourselves up with so many aspects. Now is the time to go, okay, time to take the garbage out. And if we need help from other people, then we're in a beautiful, precious place, because there's so many people now around willing to be there to support each other. We need each other. And it is a need. So might be one or two going, I don't need you, I don't need anybody. Keep thinking that. That's only hate and pride talking. I make no apologies for saying it. Lately, I've been losing stuff. I wonder why this has been happening. Losing stuff. In what way, Christine? What do you mean? Sorry. Lately, I've been losing stuff. You mean accidentally? You mean material objects, or like a lot of us losing your mind? Which one is it? Oh, guys, I did have like a phenomenal sense of humor before I came on tonight. I had to try and calm down. Well, I'm realizing I need to find all these things again. Hence the big changes. Well, you know, I'm going to jump in with this as well, Karen. I'm realizing I need to find all of these things, all those things again. Yeah, joy, laughter, etc. It's true. I want to point something out here. Our past is phenomenally beneficial when we utilize it for its actual wear. But we're at a point where our memory will bring back something we need to recall in any moment. The event what's taking place is not a remembrance. And that's not because I choose to disagree with a lot of people out there saying it's for remembrance. I respect it and I understand where they're coming from. But for me, this event is not a remembrance. This is exactly what's supposed to be happening in every moment at this time. So we don't need to remember stuff, because in effect what we need to do is empty the old stuff, be open, and embrace the new as it takes place in each present moment. So we're not undergoing a remembrance. We're not, because as soon as we get to talk about remembrance, it's like we turn around to look to the past. And most of our problems and issues have come from our past. So why on earth should we look to the past? If we go even deeper, we can say there is no past and there is no future. In effect, we can also say there is no present. Everything just is. Anyway, I'm going to stop laughing. I need light, hope and healing, but I've been struggling with spirit for many months now. Alien Clara. Thank you for joining us. Oh, let me just, if I may, I'm just want to reread it. I need light, hope and healing. Right. Okay. Now this is interesting. Is it Aileen? I think it's Aileen. Oh, Clara. Sorry if I get it wrong. I do apologise. Right. Let's have a look at this one, because what we're talking about here is, are we managing this change and transition? Now, if we struggle to manage this change and transition, what we have a tendency, our mind to, in order to support itself and give itself security, it will withdraw. And in order to protect itself, it's like, woof, hang on, this change, what's happening in my life is too strong, too heavy for me, or it's a bit difficult, more than what I wish, so I'm going to withdraw. And what happens is we close our light down. We don't close it down, we withdraw it. But in withdrawing it, we close it down. And by closing it down, inside that space becomes slightly more dense. And then we go, okay, but I still want to connect with spirit. I still want to work with spirit. Well, in order to work with spirit, we've got to be open. So you start scratching your head and you go, okay, well, what's it going to be? Now that I understand this, Aileen, because this process of ascension, what's happening is we are constantly opening and closing, expanding and contracting. The idea, or the key, is to try and develop an experience of peaceful mind. Peaceful, calm mind. And in that peaceful, calm mind, clarity comes. And the only way anybody can communicate with spirit is through some degree of clarity, i.e. clear awareness. Because with them we have clear awareness of the frequencies, from this frequency of clear awareness to the frequencies of the spirit planes and celestial and cosmic planes. So the key always comes back to us, doesn't it? Okay. So don't think you're doing anything wrong. That's the first thing, Aileen. Okay. Secondly, is there's a lot of different energy moving around the planet at the moment. Okay. Without opening it up. And that energy is trying to close a lot of people down because it doesn't want the light shining. So then we have to go into a bit of an assertive mode. But this is why we've been given all the wonderful different spiritual teachings and abilities. Everything we know of is for a reason within us. So it's like, okay, I need to be assertive. Right, I need to shake my energies. I need to clear my auric field. And I need to ascend my consciousness slightly so then I can start communicating again. Or we go into the stillness, and as we go into the stillness, spirit can gather around us. So if that makes sense. Yeah, it's like my ability is just about, I understand this really so much, and you are not on your own, really. There's going to be a lot of people experience this, okay? So the first thing is needing light and hope and healing. I'm not advertising here, but I can direct you to lots of different areas and different spiritual places out there, online or in person, where you can get healing. I would suggest anybody, please, where you can, get hands-on healing at the minute. Everybody. And some of you go, well, what? It's like spiritual healing, because what happens is a healer is an open channel for spirit, and spirit can get closer. So I'm just going to hold that, what this one now where it says makes sense. I'll finish this bit off if I can quickly. So, and also we do on Minorca Consciousness Group and Ethereal Virtual Center, there's at least 2 healing sessions every week. We're about to start a healing book for people's names. And we're about to start, there's meditations every day with Pauline, beautiful meditations, just 30 minutes, 5 till 5:30. They're going to be running up to, I think it's the 12th. and then they'll start again after Christmas. They've been on all year, thanks to Pauline. Beautiful song. And the same, we've got this space at the minute, Ethereal Virtual Centre, and we've got some really beautiful minds teaching and healing and offering different things. We've also got a trance healing clinic. So have a look around, not just ours, Aileen, anywhere where you feel drawn to, and try and get some healing, or just go into a meditation space. One of the big aspects of meditation, what's needed at this minute, is it's not always about going on a journey. You can go on a journey. Annie Fraser leads a meditation after our open circle on a Sunday, and it's stunning. It's an absolutely beautiful meditation. It takes on a journey. It's very peaceful. Okay, but also just sit there and just listen to your breathing. Absorb and sense and become aware of your breathing, and just go into that little slightly altered state of awareness, and you'll get re-energized from there as well, Aileen. Okay, let me just read this last bit. I've been afraid to empty my mind, relax mind, because all the sad feelings and all traumas come to life when my mind. Right, I understand this. Okay, so what we can do, this is where sometimes, and I'm going to like spin this a little bit, because sometimes we need to be in control. Our biggest problem is because we want to be in control over life and everybody else and what's going on. That's our issue. That's born out of pride, that's born out of insecurity, which then comes from ego, the I, which doesn't even exist, by the way. Anyway, so because of all the sad feelings, traumas come to life when my mind relaxes. Okay, so in that moment, Aileen, what you can do is go, okay, you can talk to yourself and just go, right, I'm going to deal with 1 or 2 here. I'm not going to deal and block the rest coming up. Okay. If you can't do that, then this is going to be a big one. Trust, and I would say this not just for yourself, but for everybody. When you go into that state of meditation, or where you are in that space, please make sure you ask those spiritual guides and beings of light to be present, to guide you and protect you. Okay. And they will be there, present, if you're aware of them or not. They will be present because you've asked. Okay. And then when that energy surfaces, you can just go, I'm going to trust you here. I'm going to trust. I'm going to let some of this start coming up and let it come up to the surface. And if it means having tears and release, etc., trust yourself, trust the light of your own soul, and trust those guides around you. If it feels even more secure doing it in another space where people might be there in a supportive role for you, then place yourself there. The most important thing for all of us at the minute is that we let these old traumas come to the surface and be released and let go. It's so important at the minute because they're going to come out anyway. Nobody's going to ascend to the 5th dimension totally while they're carrying baggage from the past. Nobody. Ain't going to happen because the weight of it does not match the frequencies what are pure on the 5th dimensional plane of existence. We can go there temporarily, mentally. We can go to any of them, you know, beyond the planes, as they say, 5, 6, 7, 10th dimension, all this. Don't be impressed by numbers, what people are saying. It's like, we are multi-dimensional beings, which means we're already existing on all those planes anyway. So we don't have to make a big deal about it all. So try and get yourself into a nice space and release whatever you can, really, okay? Where there's somebody or people which are loving and kind and compassionate, because they're ready. They've done part of their journey. They've done part of their cleansing and healing and clearing and transformation. Place yourself in them environments, okay? Because then you will be embraced and bathed in love, not just by those who are sitting there, those beautiful minds, but those beautiful minds also attract beautiful minds from the light. So you can see there's a big multiplication factor. We have certain groups on the go on Monoka Consciousness Group. And sometimes the energy can be overwhelming. The sheer beauty of the presence of light and energy, what's in that space, what's created by those beautiful minds in that space is humbling in a phenomenal way. Beyond words. I'm stuck for words often. They're the kind of places what I think we all need to be in, where we feel safe and comfortable, where nobody's going to betray anybody else and anything what's been said in there. There's no dramas involved, and there's not all that long. Them frequencies don't exist, and we're all just gentle, soft beings, and we need them. And I can be rough as they come. So put me in a rough circle, water off ducks back to me. I'll entertain myself with it. Well, that's Colin playing. In these soft, gentle ones is where the true, profound beauty of the light really begins to emanate. So, and we're starting to see more of those spaces take place. So, thank you so much for sharing it, Ellie. Just, yeah. And it will come up, they'll come up anyway, Ellen. Let them come up as and when. Try not to control them too much. If it's too overwhelming, you go, okay, it's too much for me at the minute. Tackle it again the next day or later. But the interesting thing is, with this, because we know there's a huge phenomenal healing process on the planet. Again, it's coupled to the ascension. Humanity's got to be healed before it can ascend. So when energy ripens naturally from its own side, the worst thing we can do is suppress it again and block it. If it's coming up, if nature is bringing it to the surface, then it's like, if we've got the mind, it's like, okay, let me allow this to take place, if that makes sense. And just go for it. There's my problem, not being my problem, not being to vibrate into the fifth dimension because I can't seem to let go of recent trauma. Perfect example, Lena. Okay, absolutely perfect. Now then, of course, there's a route. Okay, because we can ascend our consciousness. Literally, we can take our mind into that altered state, because chucking in the altered state slightly. When we're looking at the altered states, we're looking at just simply moving our consciousness from one frequency of awareness to another frequency of awareness. Radio, classic case. From one frequency, return it, go through the static, get to a clear channel. Okay, so we can do that almost in an ascending order, or when we're channeling, we do it in ascending order. When we're doing it any other way, we go within, and we can go into a deep state of relaxation or a deep altered state. Okay, whichever one fits anybody. Everybody's unique in their own way. Now then, so we can tap into the fifth dimension, Lena, and the sixth, seventh, and beyond. Okay, in a momentarily way, by ascending there. We ascend because we're taking our mind through the different planes. Okay, as we go, and we must bear in mind. Oh, they just stopped me. I can't say that. Okay, so we're going through the different planes. Okay, so we can send our mind in the ascending fashion. Some people use Kundalini, draw that raw energy up through the base, whoosh, off the go, and the ascension takes place through the crown chakra and upwards. Okay, now then, what we're trying to do with the fifth dimension, and bear in mind, a lot of people talking about the fifth dimension is like, guys, we'll just remember the fourth one because we're still in the third one here, so we can't skip a dimension. This material world is like done everybody's head in. So when we're looking at vibrating, and you use a real key word here, it's not being able to vibrate into the fifth dimension. Okay, what we are hoping to achieve as a species at this point of evolution to get into the fifth dimension is that we are completely operating in the fifth dimension, and we're vibrating constantly from minimum of the fifth dimensional frequencies. So then we're embodied our consciousness into the fifth dimension. We're not going to be leaving the fourth and third and second and first dimension behind. This is really important for people to understand as far as I'm concerned. We're not going to be leaving them behind. What we're doing is actually purifying them, because that's where the old stuff's been resting on. So we thought, oh, that's garbage, I need to get rid of it. Oh, I don't want to go there no more. What's happening is as complete channels of vessels of light, we've got to have the capacity to stand on whatever plane we're on, and in any dimensional reality we understand we're in at that moment, and vibrate completely in that space and move our mind. Then it's like likening the mind to you're stepping into a tall building, skyscraper, whatever. There's 25 floors. Okay, press a button, you just choose which floor you want to go to. And the idea is to take the whole part of us to that floor, i.e., each floor represents a dimension. And having the capacity to move up and down freely from the first floor or the ground floor all the way up to the 25th at will. That's where we're heading. Okay, and we won't be stopping on any one of them. That'd be ridiculous, because if we stop on one of them, we'll start slowing down, our vibrations will get denser again, and we'll have to go through the whole process of what we're going through at this point of evolution again. And I don't believe for 1 minute that's going to happen. So, good point, Lena. As far as letting go of the trauma is concerned, this year really has been a big year for letting go, and I think next year is going to be the same, if not even stronger. I think there's going to be more letting go next year. So we can do the letting go process ourselves individually by taking the time, putting ourselves in a nice position gently and letting go of some of the stuff, i.e. transforming it, because we never really let go. And we do, when we're letting go retreats. I run up letting go retreats, titled Letting Go Retreat. In effect, what we're doing is transforming the energy. And once the energy is transformed, what's happened then is we've let go of the old energy or the old thoughts and reality of what once was. That's what we let go of. But the energy itself has been transformed. So there's a problem with letting go of past emotions. Right, okay. Maybe on another occasion I might do a talk on letting go and the different aspects of the letting go process. I've been attuned to vibrating that fifth dimensional space with a vision from me. I think completely no problem with lifting myself. Yeah, don't beat yourself up, Lena. Don't beat yourself up. If you can, regarding any external aspects, and this is another aspect of the ascension, we're learning discernment, detachment, non-attachment, and distractions. The world is distracted at the minute. The world isn't. Many people are in the world, on the planet. So it's important that we kind of be mindful about distractions in our life, and the distractions will come into our auric field or our field of energy. Okay, and they go, oh, that's going to be a distraction to me. With respect, a lot of people are getting wrapped up in dramas at the minute. And it's like, guys, come on, you know better, you're more intelligent than that. Step back, just pull back. We don't need to be involved in dramas, okay? It's an infringement on the light of our own soul to be involved in other people's dramas, especially with people. We've got enough to deal with in this space, what we're carrying. So then we go, right, we've also got distractions within our own mind, because we're also thinking about different things on a daily basis. So this is where meditation and stillness is so important, and healing. So, yeah, and take your time, just have some patience. When we're humans only vibrating in the first dimension, when we're humans only vibrating in the first dimension, so that it could move on to the second. Thanks. I like this one, Big Frank. Okay, so that's like the $64,000 question, isn't it? Who knows? So the first thing, I'm not going to make any claims having the wisdom to know when that was. Okay, what I can say is the first dimension is literally, it's like iota. It's the singularity of a certain point. When we're humans over on the first dimension, so that it could move on to the second. Right. So I love this. I love it. Right. Let's open this up a little bit, if that's okay. I hope everybody's still okay with this. So what we're looking at here is we're using human language and terminology to describe something in order for us to comprehend it. It's a bit like time. Time is merely a vibration. It's a perception of our own awareness, what creates and gives a frequency a word, i.e. time. So time is merely a frequency, and it's a slow frequency, what we've tuned into, with what our consciousness, giving our consciousness the ability to tune into the same frequency as time in order to comprehend this plane of existence and what's going on. Nothing more. When we meditate, there is no time. So we know time in true reality does not exist. So it means we've lowered our frequency in order to attune to time. Okay? But time is such a big thing for everybody. Now that when we use terminology like dimensions, first, second, third, fourth, and all this lot, we're doing exactly the same, Frank. We're using human terms in order to comprehend something, which, to make sense of it, or to make some kind of sense to it, so that we can continue to understand or expand our, what we think, understand our knowledge and awareness. What we're doing is taking ourselves to the point of knowing, i.e., we are knowing beings. But the conditions around us have clouded our awareness, or our consciousness in this case, by the densities of those aspects, including what we said, dimensions, distractions, etc., and all the experiences, what we're encountering. So we remove all them out of the way and you go, right, let's tap into this dimensional stuff. Do dimensions actually exist? Well, we think they do, because, you know, in our making sense of things, it's like, directionally speaking, linear, from the first dimension, i.e. the dot, and then to a line. So then we measure from one end to the other, and then we put an angle on it. It's like, okay, we've got 3 dimensions here. And then we start opening things up and we go, oh, there's a box shape, etc. And we start seeing from all these angles what we refer to as dimensions. We can refer to dimensions as densities. We can refer to them as waves or planes. I really like the thought of waves of existence or waves of awareness. That's the one I like. Okay. I have a tendency to use dimensions because it's more generally accepted in this spiritual space, if you like, so to speak. So when we're humans vibrating in the first dimension, pass. I ain't got a clue. If you find that answer, Frank, please let me know. Be interesting to know. Maybe, I thought time was the 4th dimension. Look into it, Frank. Is it? Is time the 4th dimension? Time for me is just simply a frequency. So, and it's a dense frequency, and that. It's like everything's slowed down in order for us to make sense of it. That's why when we meditate and everything seems to speed up, and we go, wow, I thought I was in there ages. I've only think that's gone really fast, etc. Because our awareness has moved beyond what we think is the frequency of time. So open it all up, Frank. I can open some of this stuff, but it's nice here to say. But that first dimension is okay. If it's okay, we're just going to have a little bit of a play. So you're looking at dimension, metaphysical thing, rather than mathematical dimensions. Well, you see, then we've got here. I'm just the 2 points here. I'm going to throw out here, Frank, because this is interesting. We can view it as metaphysical, okay, but then we can't dismiss the mathematical, can we? Then we're bringing duality into place, the two opposites, okay, and then we're looking, because my mind instinctively goes, okay, what we're referring to here is science and spirit, metaphysical being spirit, science being mathematical, and then that whole business of, well, this is the correct way, no, that's the correct way, when in effect they're both one and the same, and they're not separate. So out of metaphysical and mathematical, we need to find a new word, Frank, because they both run out of meaning. So you're looking at, yeah, they're running out of meaning. Now then, let's play a little bit, because I want to go back to this, what's called the iota, for me, the first dimension. Now then, if we imagine a spiral, if you like this, and I'm sorry this has gone on in this way, guys, nothing I can do. So if we're looking at the iota, the dot, the first dimension, And I'm being allowed, there's part of me cautious about saying this, but I've got these guys going, let's just put this one out there, Colin. Right, so I'm going to put this one out. Imagine a spiral, okay? And the spiral is made up, imagine it as the 7 colors of the spectrum, okay? From the red all the way up. Orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, etc. Okay, there, blue. So, and as we go up the spiral, we ascend, but we expand at the same time. So that's what we're doing. Our consciousness is doing that all the time. And it's going up and coming down. It's going up and it's coming down, depending on what experience we're experiencing in any moment. Okay. So when we look at the spiral, then we can say, okay, we put the spectrum to it, the colors. We can bring chakras in, but let's put the spectrum in the colors, and we go, right. So the first dimension has got to be the red one, the base, what we call the base. Second one has got to be the second dimension. So these are all relative to the electromagnetic spectrum, because we're seeing them as colors, but we're seeing the spiral as frequencies and vibrations. So we know as we ascend, we expand. Okay. But the first dimension at its center point is there in the V. That one single spot at the very bottom of the spiral. And we can say that is the first dimension. There, because it's a single dot. That means that energy is at its most densest. That's when it's got its most mass and density. Okay. And that's why when we feel when we get close to it, when our mind goes down, we feel we become heavy and dense. That's because the frequency of our consciousness has come down the spiral. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. So our mind has dropped down. So what we're looking at is the ascension is always going to take us up, and we're going to feel nice and light and expanded, because we're moving up to the 4th and 5th and 6th dimensions and so on. We start going to what we refer to as the spiritual planes, the ethereal planes, the astral planes, and so on, into the light, and so on. So that what you've referred to, Frank, is as the first dimension, is the dot itself, is the most dense form of where there's less light. It's the darkest place. Okay. Now then, the original question, when did it start? Maybe it's always been in existence. Because if time is an illusion, i.e. it's a dense frequency that really doesn't exist, it only exists because we give it its appearance, it appears to our mind. But that's not appearing from its own side, we're creating it from our side. And we're back to when we're going to meditation, everything speeds up, there is no time. That's the true nature of reality. The same with dimensions. So we can say, if time doesn't exist, and when did the first dimension exist, and when was we there? Maybe it's always been there, maybe we've always been there. Something to think about. Non-combative, I know it's probably not my kind of stream, but keep it up, mate. Must be your kind of stream, because you're asking the questions, Frank. Oh, I love it. Anyway, I'm so pleased to have you with us. Any more thoughts? I don't know what's happening here. How long have we been on the go here? Hour and 40 minutes, by the way. Spiritual is so much easier than it is on the airplane. Years ago, there was not many mediums. Now, so many can work with spirit. Is the spirit world closer now? Good question. Let's have a look. Just bear with me, everyone. So, Marion, here's going to mediums. But this is all to do with light, Marion. Literally, this is to do with light. The light of the world is getting brighter. And as the light of the world gets brighter, more people awaken. More people have the psychic experience, because what's called a spiritual awakening is actually a psychic experience. It's a psychic awakening. And the reason why I say that is because the psyche is the consciousness, it's the mind. So the mind is expanded slightly, and it starts questioning and starts perceiving and sensing in to a new frequency of awareness. Okay. So what's happened is, in the last 30 to 50 years, the light around the planet has got brighter and brighter and brighter, and that's why we know it's a cosmic event coming from the cosmos. And these streams and waves of light, as they hit the earth, are creating this awakening. More people are now awakening to their psychic senses. Well, we've always had the psychic senses. That's why we've always had a gut feeling. But those psychic senses are becoming more sharper and refined. And from the psychic senses, then we start stepping into the frequency of the spirit world and communicating with spirit. No medium can communicate with spirit without using the psyche. Not one. Otherwise, they won't have a mind. Okay? So we've got to accept that simple basic fact that every medium works in a psychic capacity, because it's through the consciousness, it's through the mind, and the mind is the psyche, so to speak. So that's why we're seeing so many people doing readings and opening up and etc., doing all this beautiful, beautiful stuff. Okay, and when we say, is the spirit world closer now? That's a good point and a good question. I would say no. I would say what's happening is we have landed on the planet in this body. Our consciousness has expanded to a point. The spirit world has always been present, wherever that is, in whichever realm or direction or area or plane of existence in the vastness of the cosmos and beyond. It's just humanity is waking up, expanding their consciousness into the vibrations which more closely match the frequencies of the spirit world. So it makes the communion and connection between the two, what we call the two worlds, easier now than what it's ever been. And once humanity is waking up as a collective, and further still, I mean, the magic's just going to keep happening and happening and happening. We can say, if a mind can attain a certain degree of awareness, expansion, then while it's in the body, clearly that mind will see spirit at all times walking amongst them. So it all depends on the expanse of consciousness, Marian. That's why we can say, what's the difference between mediums and psychics? Why can one do this? Why can the other do that? Why it's all to do with the expanse of that consciousness, that individual consciousness. And in that, when we look at the rings of consciousness, we've got facets, we've got sections in the rings of consciousness, and they've got sections in. So we've got layers and planes, and then we've got facets and aspects within all of them. So mediums, if we say mediums, including psychics in that, trance mediums, etc., they've expanded to a certain point, and they're working. Their mind is managing to connect to the frequencies of a certain section of their consciousness in order then to attune with a certain section of the spirit planes. Okay. So I hope that helps. Brilliant stuff. Is it just a grand cycle? Melissa, do we just ascend to the top of the spiral and then go back and do it all again? Well, if you're stupid like me, Melissa, yeah. Yeah. You go flying off like Buzz Lightyear, and you hit some kind of, I don't know, like some kind of invisible dome, like some people think is around the earth. It hit the dome and come bouncing all the way back down and land on you again. So, just kidding, obviously. I would say, oh, people are going to love me for this. I would say, no, there's no such thing as a cycle. And I'm really so pleased you've asked this question, because it just gave me the opportunity to say this. Everything is in spiral form. We are spirals of truth. The chakras are spirals. Our energies and particles are atoms are all spirals. Okay? In the grand scheme of everything, it's a spiral of existence. Okay? Obviously, we can say there's cycles because it's a circle, or, circle, squares, oblong, all these different shapes. But for me, everything is spiral energy. Spiral energy. We're a vortex. We're just a swirling mass of wonderful light, and it whips up a vortex like a tornado, and that's who we are. And our consciousness rides the spiral of truth. And every time the consciousness moves to a certain frequency on that spiral, we sense a different frequency of truth, what's on that spiral. So, and that's why for most people we can say, in effect, we almost don't evolve. What we're doing is, and the reason why people change the truth is, it's not that because they've changed the truth from one day to the next. It's because their consciousness have moved to a different position or location on the spiral of their truth. And therefore the new truth, what they're reflecting, is coming from the frequency, which is what they're locked into or tuned to in that moment, specific moment. And then the next day or the next moment, they'll move it somewhere else on the spiral. So interesting stuff. I think we're almost, I don't even know what time it is. Where are we? It's nearly 10 o'clock, so it's nearly 9 o'clock over in the UK. Debbie, lovely to see you, Debbie. Debbie Romero. Yes, thanks for joining us. So, everybody, Debbie Romero, she's over in America. Check her out. Medium, etc. Lynn Boyd, one thing. I'd say advanced. Good evening. Hi, Michael. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to carry on because I'm just kind of getting warmed up now, and some of you guys are going, "What? Are you kidding me? Oh, I've had enough. I'm off." So I think we're going to do. We'll just take a couple more quick questions, then we're going to do some readings, if that's all right. Because I know Spirit really wants to do some readings. So have we covered most of the questions? Oh, I don't want to know. I've just got you live, loving it. Yes. Thank you, Debbie. Hope everybody's managed to stay with us. Hope you've been enjoying it. Let's just fire away, see what we've got here. I'm just checking some of the. Oh, I like that one, Marion. My past rubbish was my darkness. My present and future is the light times. Correct. Correct. Bear in mind, everything is energy, and we rely on energy to exist. And we're gathering and collecting, constantly gathering and collecting energy, whether we call it good or bad experiences. We're just gathering it because we want the reaction in here so we can expand and ascend. Let's have a look. Sorry, anything? Marlene. I think we're nearly down to. Oof. Oh, Lena's Angel. Why so many lessons to learn? Let's just quickly grab that one. Lena, why so many lessons to learn? I know I'm going to lose a few people with this, but there's no such thing as a lesson. Sorry to disappoint those who like the lessons, but there is no such thing as lessons. Everything will. When we think we're learning lessons, it's because we're lacking the knowing. And I don't mean lacking it disrespectfully. I mean knowing is not present. When the knowing is in, there's no learning, there's no lesson. We're knowing beings. So in this process of transformation what's taking place, we're starting to tap into the frequencies of knowing within us. And then the lessons will go, oh, okay, well, no, I know this is correct. Where's the lesson in that? So, but at the minute, I get what you're saying, Lena. I would say lessons rather than say why so many lessons. I'll just go, my view and perception is, okay, karma is ripened for me to deal with this particular experience. Okay. I think when we use lessons, we're actually treating ourselves as infants and diminishing the vastness and the greatness, cautiously, of our own light. And I'm not saying, we are great light, but we are. That's why, when people take to us or not, it's the light. So as regarding lessons, yeah, it's just karma ripening for all of us. And we can go, yes, I need to learn this. I'm so glad you said this, Colin. This is a whole new topic. Topic. Oh, do you know what? Can you remember the topics in England? I could just eat one. Topic. Thank you, Sal. Okay, I'm going to fly through and start doing readings and join this. Christine, before you go, hello, Mary. Hey, Mary, Margaret, Margaret, you must have a Mary with. Christine, then. Okay, so I'm going to start. Thank you for everybody who's joined us for the chat and the talk. Now I'm going to do some readings. I just need to cough and a drink. Sorry. So, Christine, if you'll stay with us for a few minutes, because I've got a gentleman here. So just to let you know about the readings, everybody. I can't, you know, obviously I don't determine where I'm going to get to. I just, whoever I'm drawn to, I'll go to, whoever nothing I can do. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it slow me down, etc. I'm not the conventional medium. I was tempted to say something. Okay, I'm just going to explain briefly. So everything gets incorporated when I do mediumship, when I work with spirit. So there's mediumship, there's evidential mediumship, there's psychic mediumship. It's irrelevant to me, because as the purest form of mediumship, it's just to let spirit do it. And that's why I work. And the spirit will use all the energies in the space. There'll be healing aspects in there. There'll be joy. There might be some sadness, etc. It's spirit. When spirit lead, and we don't need all these names and descriptions and all that. Like, it's got to be evidential. It's got to be this. It's got to be this. No. Like, it's got to be what spirit wish from the light. As far as I'm concerned, we just let the light guide. So, Christine. So sit back and enjoy it for the next 20 minutes, half an hour, if you wish. And by the way, it looks like I will be doing a special Christmas demonstration of mediumship around the 20th of December. So please watch out for that. Little chat, but it'll be mainly messages, especially for Christmas. So Christmas, gentlemen, I've got to stop waffling. Christine, I've got a gentleman who's ready to step in, Christine, okay? And he's like looking at you through my eyes, and he's grinning. I'm looking at your picture because he's almost looking similar to your smile, okay? And do you know what? I want to use the word smug, but I want to use it in a positive context, not a negative, because in England we say when somebody's smug, there's negative connotation, but there isn't. On other occasions where somebody's smug, they've got that kind of chirpy, smiley looking, smug looking face on the face, look on the face, which is smiley and warm and loving. Okay, so this gentleman is bringing you a lot of that energy, Christine. Okay, what I will ask anybody, if they can kind of really quickly respond to me, yes, no, or don't know, it'll help me keep going. All right. Now then, I've got heart. I'm just going to go for it because I've got a chest condition, but they've changed it. I want a heart attack. You would know somebody who had a heart condition and it resulted in a heart attack. And I've got angina. I want the word angina with that, Christine. Okay. And I'll also see them showing me somebody walking with a walking stick. And this is a lady towards the end of her life. I've got to give you Mary because it called out once anyway. But I also want the name Steph or Stephanie with you, Christine. Okay. Now then, they've just taken me, this lady has taken me into a garden, a small garden. It's at the back of the house, and it's got a small fence around it, okay? And it's got two sections of garden with a path going towards this little gate, what appears to be a gate. But there's a path in it. It doesn't matter if there's not a gate there, but there's a path and two pieces of grass. And I'm going to sit on the right side, so I'm just going to sit in the summer and sit on a chair, like a bench at an angle in that garden. Okay, Christine? And she's bringing all these beautiful memories back for you. All right, and either you or somebody else keeps like shifting the glasses on their head. Okay, it's quite comical, the saying. Now then, talking about comical, this gentleman showed me a clown from many years ago, and I believe this clown was done as a joke and made somebody, if it wasn't you, made somebody jump because he's just bringing this memory. Okay, and the clown now is using the clown to represent all the colours, and it's turned into like they're going to bring you all. It was you. I thought it was because I see you jump. To be honest, Christine. And this clown turned into a multicolored being. Okay, and what I'm seeing is the purples, the greens, the yellows, the blues, very vivid and very sharp. And they're bringing all these colors around you, Christine. And I know there's healing on your left knee. Okay, and just above it, and because I've got my hand on it and I want to rub it, and he's laughing his head off. This gentleman is. I want the name Barry. Okay. That can be anywhere. If I get names, just put them where they are. If you can't, doesn't matter, bin them. But I don't chase spirit and go back for stuff. I also want, as if I got somebody's placed a pencil or pen. What? No, they've placed what looks like a pencil in my hand, but I think it's a thin pen. Okay, and it's in your hand, and you write, or you did write something to somebody before they passed or when they passed, because I can see writing on this piece of lined paper, short, small piece of lined paper, and they're saying, she put her thoughts down, Colin. And I saw it. I was watching her when she was writing it. I read them. Okay. Would you understand this, Christine? Hopefully. Right then. And just before I pull back, I've got a bit of a cough. Okay. So they want to make sure you stay wrapped up and warm for Christmas and winter. They're saying winter. Okay. They give me a toffee apple as well, by the way, here. So I don't know whether somebody made, oh, that's bonfire night. I had that at bonfire night. Okay. What's for the toffee? Oh, no, it's a memory. Sorry. Toffee apple. And they're taking me to an item of jewelry, what you're wearing as well, Christine. Okay. It looks like a necklace. If you're not wearing it, you should have it. It's a necklace, and it looks like it's got this beautiful, small pink, because it's almost transparent pink gem or stone on that necklace, Christine. Okay. And I believe you'll find that as a memory. You're getting a lot of healing, because I know your legs need healing, because there's a certain vibration and frequency going on with my legs with them. Okay. And I want the song, Always Look on the Bright Side, Monty Python. So that's memory. Always look on the bright side. Thank you so much, Christine. I'm going to move on. Aileen, I'm going to come to Aileen, because I know I had to come to her earlier. Are you still with us, Aileen? I'm probably going to, yeah, there, Wolf, there you go. Just let us know that you're still with us, if that's okay. Okay, so we're swimming. It's like I am swimming. Now, look, I've got to say, because that name, what I'm looking at is yours, reminds me of German and South Africa. There's all sorts going in your name and in your family. Okay, but that's Colin picking it up, or me being guided and my own awareness from spirit with your name, Aileen. Right. But I'm swimming. I want memories of swimming when you was a child, okay, when you was younger. And it's like, and now we're swimming in this vast ocean of energy. Okay. They're going to bring you to the surface to give you, I know what we said earlier, and I know what you put in. As far as I'm concerned, that's gone. I get it from spirit. This is it at the moment. I want the name Tony being given to me, what's connected to the airplane. Can be anywhere. I want September, and I'm around the 19th or the 17th. Say 19th first, and then I want 17th. Somebody's talking about a time. Somebody remembers the exact date, and it will remember the date that was born. The exact time they was born. Okay. Are you still with us, Aileen? Please let me know to say yes or no. Let's fly through this so we can get to the bottom. See who's. Hopefully you're still here. Michael, I've got to come to Michael Christopher as well. Hi, hello, Rich. Nice to have you with us. Annie Claire's here. Thanks, Annie. Lovely to see you. Tiny's still here. Let's have a look. Sorry. Let's have a look. Right. Oof. I don't know whether. Can you just respond to us, Aileen, if you're still here? If not, I'm going to have to move on. Let's have a look. Tiny's here. Come on then, let's go to Tiny. If Aileen comes back, then we'll come back to you, Aileen. Okay. Tiny. Woof. Okay then. Do you know, Tiny, I've got somebody who's jumped in really strong. As if they're like, oh, if different conditions, they'd want to put me into a trance-like state to communicate with you. Okay. Right, Tiny. So there's going to be spirit. I'm going to find a way, an opportunity, okay, of getting in somebody, a medium or channel. Let's just call them a channel here. They're going to find a way of getting into a channel where they can really come through as powerful as they possibly can to communicate and talk with you. Whether it's in person or online, I honestly don't know, but they're determined to do it. Said, Colin, we're going to do it. Tell her to watch out for it. And it's funny, we shouldn't have any expectations, but they've just gone, tell her to expect it, because I am going to get in somebody, okay, in a nice way, not in a negative way, because there'll be a vessel what will always be open for this sort of stuff if the circumstances are correct. Okay, it's really important, Tanya, that you enjoy Christmas. This is going to be the last thing you're going to want to do. they're saying you've got to enjoy Christmas. Okay, 100%. This is so important, because if you enjoy Christmas, then you're over the hill, they're saying. Because at the minute, it feels like climbing a hill, and you're trying to be as positive and as light and smiley face as you possibly can. But the Spirit's saying, we know it's a bit of a mask, or more than that, okay? But we're trying to get her over the hill, okay? So once Christmas, once you got over the hill over Christmas, it'll be like a train just coming down. Things will get a lot easier for you, okay? Right then. Somebody wants to run to you, Tani, because my feet are on fire as if I just want to run over to you and just put my arms around you and grab you, okay, in the most beautiful, magical way, and with a lot of humor, okay? Right, let's have a look. Somebody around you, because I've got a condition on my stomach now. I'm going to speed up, or somebody's going to speed. I've got a condition on my stomach where it's like, woof, it's like my stomach's on fire, okay? One, it's energy, and the other one, there's kind of like nauseous feeling, okay? So I know somebody had this nauseous feeling before the past, okay? I've got a gentleman here what's saying thank you, because they was looking at you as you was looking at them before they passed, just in that moment, I feel, okay? In fact, it's going, no, come on, Colin, say it as it is. Right. So I believe there was a person who passed the Spirit who you went to see, possibly in the Chapel of Rest, okay? And as you was watching them, they're telling me they was actually there watching you, okay? So you was watching the body, but their soul, the consciousness, their light, was standing watching you, Tani, okay? And with that, they've just stepped forward and put their light around you, okay? Absolutely beautiful, because I can hear a conversation going, I'm sure he was there. I know he was there. I'm sure he was. I could feel it, okay? And it's like, they're confirming that it took place. August is a month here, and thumbs up for August. The one what's gone, because I know it's anniversary of birthday, and I'm around the 20, they're trying to get me into the 20, 22nd, even maybe up to the 27th. But the one next August, your whole world's going to change by next August, Andy. Oh, they've just put my head on the block on this one, isn't there? Right. You're going to have to let me know in August next year. If it hasn't changed, don't come to me. Go to them. Okay. Right. So they're bringing lots of love and laughter to you. Okay. And Tani, just before I move and pull back, somebody's going, Colin, she knows she can do this. Just tell her to get on with it. Okay. In that accent. They've got a really nice accent. Okay. Just bear with me if you want 1 minute, because I'm going to see if he's going to come in a bit. Please bear with me. I'm sorry about this. Let me just see if he's going to come in closer. I love you. And he wants to say, I love you with another word on it. I love you. And you know I do. And I couldn't say it before I went because it was too late. But I love you. And he's scratching his face here for some reason. And he went, don't ever think I'm away or going. And he's just throwing a boomerang at you. And I'm seeing a boomerang go there and come back. And I've got to leave that. He's pulled back. He's gone, that's all I wanted to say. I always had that confidence. You can have it. You can get it, Tani. Right. Okay. Debbie, I'm going to come to Debbie, where are we? Debbie Romero. Hi, Debbie. You're still with us, hopefully. So, Debbie, you know, I've got a smoker here, Debbie. I feel like I want a cigarette. I can't smoke while I'm doing this. Oh, Tani, thank you so much. Not thank you for being in tears. Well, yeah, maybe. Tani, no, I'm not the best. There's a lot more, trust me, there's a lot more better out there. So beautiful, Tani. She is, absolutely. Debbie, are you still with us? I think she's still with us. Yes, no, don't know if she knows she's here. Hopefully. Anyway, smoking. Debbie, I want a smoker, but used to be a smoker and stopped around you. Okay. There you go. So cute. She's here. And they're coming here. Now, I do know what I have got. And it's funny because I can see her face as lit up as clear as anything. So, and naturally, she's going to be here. And you know who this lady is, Debbie, you know you're not going to avoid your mum coming through because she's here. Right. Now then, she's taken hold of your hand and she's guiding you, because she's saying to me, Colin, she's got a lot of stuff going on up here, this way, that way, this way, that. Like we do, this is the time we're all going to have a lot of stuff going on. And she's going, but we're guiding it. I've taken her hand because I want to take her in a certain direction. But she's almost joking. She's going, but I've got to pull her in a certain direction a little bit, because she's a little bit resistant to go in the direction we want her to go. Not that you're not resisting spirit, because you're one of the last people resist spirit, but this particular direction. So there's a lot of questioning going on around you at the minute, Debbie. Now that I want to start coughing heavily though. Oh, I'm so sorry. Somebody's come in and I've got two things. So I had quite a difficult congested chest and throat area before I passed. And also I want somebody who I'm sorry, this is going to sound coarse. It's like onions, the certain food what repeats itself on your chest. So this is horrible, but I've got to say it. It's like I'm sensing somebody on the airplane the food keeps repeating themselves at the minute. And I want to clear everything. Okay. Right. So that's a condition with somebody on the airplane, Debbie. But also what they're saying is she's clearing, Colin, from her heart to her throat and then it's going to be to the third eye, because it's going upwards. Okay. So I know you're strongly aware of energy coming up. Okay. And the communication and the expressiveness, the saying, is going to be coming very clear and booming. Okay. And they're saying she's on a bit of a mission at the minute, Colin, and we love it because her energy is changing. All field of energy or aura is changing, and she knows it is, and she's feeling it. Okay. I've got a really beautiful feeling about this, Debbie. Okay. I want Costa Rica or somewhere near the Bahamas or because I'm the south of Florida and I'm on them islands, like the Caribbean islands. I'm going there for some reason. Okay. So I don't know whether anybody around you have got something planned. Oh, hang on. Somebody's been talking about a cruise, because she's putting a cruise in my head. And to be honest, all of a sudden they've just stopped me and gone Cancun. So I don't know whether this has been coming up. Well, it has. It must have been. Okay. And I've got shaking hands, Debbie. So I know there's a lady in spirit whose hands was very fragile and shaking towards the end. Okay. And she's going, just let me talk to her for 1 minute, Colin. Just let me talk to her. Okay. Right. Okay. This is why she got hold of your hand as well, then, Debbie, because she's transferring energy through and love. Okay. That's why your auric feels changing. Right. But her hands were shaking, or are shaking, and she wants to talk to you for a minute. She's trying to slow my energies down so I can look at you and speak to you. Okay. And she's saying, but don't worry, it will clear and you will come back with twice the energy you went in with. Okay, we're going to clear. And she say, main thing is we don't want her to worry, Colin, because it can clear, it can be sorted out. Okay, and I'm seeing you rise up and standing on your feet. Okay, and as I'm doing that, I'm tingling all over my body. This is you. You're going to be, I'm going to say this. She's saying she's going to feel so much more sensitive, Colin, when she comes out of this change. Okay. And I've got to give you the catalyst, the cocoon. Yeah, the catalyst to the butterfly. Okay. Syndrome. It's more than that. We know it is, but she's using it just to get it across. Okay. And art, the picture, hold my picture. Tell her, hold my picture, Colin. Hold my picture to her heart. Okay. And it will bring her a lot of warmth and love. Okay. And she's putting her hands together. So I know she was deeply, deeply thankful to God in her way. Like, she's so appreciative, Debbie. And she's saying, and we're saying prayers for her at the minute for a speedy recovery. Okay. Now she's bringing me memories of you in rollerblades. And she's laughing her head off. Okay. She's just laughing. And it's you. I can see you along some kind of what we call in England the promenade along the beach, on the pavement, or the walkway, or whatever you call it, on your wallpaper. And she is in stitches, laughing her head off about that. And she's going, Colin, she gave me the most wonderful memories. Say hello to everybody and everybody around you, okay? And just before we go, there's a guide just coming in, Debbie. Okay, now I know it's a classic, but I'm still going to give him. And he's just gone, oh no, you don't have to give him. You don't have to give me, Colin. You don't have to describe who I am. She knows. Okay, but what he's saying to me is passing this message on. Weakness is still a strength until strength overrides weakness, and neither of them are present. Only the light. And in that light is where you'll find me. And he just stepped back, and they've all stepped back. I already know you're very sensitive, Debbie. I think you're going to get tuned up even more, to be honest. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much. Oh, that was interesting what he's just done with me. That guide was interesting, Debbie. I've got to come to Michael. Michael, where's Michael? I know hopefully he's still with us. Michael Christopher. Please let us know if you're still with us, and then I can come to you. How long we've got? We've got about another 10, 15 minutes, and that's it. We'll draw it to a close if that's okay. Mary, is there still time? Mary, Marion. Marion, I'm going to come to Marion if that's okay. Marion Harris. Hi, Marion. Let's swap this energy over then, but I'm just waiting. Well, I'm not swapping it, they swap it. Right. Okay, Marion, the first thing I've seen is a dog has come over to you. Okay, I've got this beautiful, oh, the hair on this dog is like pristine. So I know somebody always looked after, washed this dog or put him in the bathroom, I don't know, groomed it well. I'm not sure what was going on. Okay. Debbie, yes, I love roller skating. That was so funny as anything, that Debbie. Okay. So Marion, this dog has come over to you. Okay. Now, and all of a sudden I've got very hot, almost as if I got, it's like my forehead's going to start sweating. So I know you get sensations of heat around you, and then it drops off, and you go, "What was that?" Okay. Now then, and also I want to say for some reason, I give what spirit give me. Okay. All of a sudden, they've shown me a pan in a kitchen on a shelf. Okay. They just look, guys, I've been working with spirit for so many years. It's like, and you go, okay, you've got a pan in the kitchen, right? But I have to give it. So okay, I have heat sweat. I can feel them, Marion, they're on me, right? And they're reaching up for a pan, but they're not telling me why they're giving me this pan. Okay, hey, there a spirit dog protects me. Yes, this one, Marion, this beautiful looking one. Now that it's the pan, I want the pan. So, bear with me because let's find out how they're instead of messing about. They're handing you a pan, okay, and it's got this handle on it. So they're giving you this pan. It's a silver, looks like almost the cast iron ones, the old fashioned ones, but it's clean. Almost looks new, as if I reached up to take it off the shelf. Memories, right. So there was memories going back for you, Marion, where I believe, and I'm going to say your grandmother in her home would have put pans up on the side, not in the cupboard below. There were certain pans in somebody's kitchen, I believe your grandmother's. If it's not your grandmother's, I've got it wrong. But somebody's kitchen had pans on shelves, okay? And they're talking about memories because whose ever house that was is the person who's here. Now then, clearly I've got a gentleman who stepped forward because he's making sure I don't, mess about here. And he's going, Colin, right, I've got to give you the month of June, okay? As a birthday, no, let's not mess about. Okay, I want June as a birthday, Marion, but I also believe June as a passing. That's the one I want. Grandmother and Van would cook when I was little. June is my birthday. Right, that's the first one. I also want somebody, because they're trying to give me somebody's passing. I want a passing in October, Marion. They just took me straight into October. And I want 2 dates. I want the 10th. If it's not, I'm just going to give you 2 dates. If it's not October, place somewhere to go. I want the 10th because I saw it clearly, and the 4th. And the 4th is quite significant, they're telling me, because I can do holding it in the space. And they're going, Colin, 4th, tell her about the 4th. She'll know about the 4th. Okay. And all of a sudden, they whip my mind back, and I want January. So I know there's some kind of special anniversary or something in January for you, Marion. Okay. They're trying to zip me through these months. October, when was that? Thank you. Okay, because there was they clearly said October about something quite special. Now then, they've just told me you've had specific experience of spirit, Marion. Okay. Now that's too loose and you know, whatever. So they're going to show me a little bit more. Right. So I'm going to describe what I'm seeing. So I'm in a dream state. I'm in bed. I'm in a dream state, and I can. You also get smells around you because January's your mum's birthday. Thank you. So am I right in saying the birthday is around the 16th, Marion? Because it just took me around the 16th. You she'll probably say the 7th. Anyway, I've lost where I was. I jumped in with that. Dream. So I'm laid in bed and I've gone into a dream state. And it's like my mind, my consciousness has gone over to spirit or part of. And I'm seeing and sensing light. Would you understand this, Marion? Because, and they're laughing because they're going, yeah, she knows, Colin, she knows what we're talking about. Because there's been an aspect of light, what you've experienced, they're telling me, okay? And they want you to know it was done deliberately. We took her there, they're saying to me, okay? Your guides want to let you know that they're around you at this minute. So please don't question whether your guides are around you or not, all right? They want really giving you the confirmation that they are. You see lots of lights. Son's birthday is on the 16th. Then it's your mother what's given me the 16th. It's about your son. Say happy birthday, whenever it is. Right. So, and flashes of gold. Because I'm partly walking with spirit, Marion. And that's the only way I can describe it, is I don't expand on this, Colin. I'm partly walking with spirit. And I really want to open and they're going, you can't. Just leave it at that. Right. I want a gentleman. Sorry, I've made a mistake. I want a lady who had some kind of arthritis in a right hand or a problem or issue with the right hand. Okay, I sense them. Yes, right. I want around. They give me tulips, so I know I'm around March, April time. Okay, special time of the year for you and the family. Okay. Because I would automatically put tulips with Holland and Dutch. So there's European connection going on with you then, Marion, wherever that may, and they're laughing their head off at that one. So no, that's stronger than what I realised. Okay, just before I finish, you love tulips. Just before I finish, they just walked over you and they're handing you somebody, this lady, now she's telling me this lady is handing you a beautiful one, single, small, red rose. April's for passing. I wouldn't be surprised if that red rose comes from the April passing, Marion. Okay. Just before I do finish, I can see you holding somebody's hands before they passed. Okay. And they're saying, I've got the words forever grateful. And I've got to leave it at that and pull back. Thank you so much, Marion. So maybe one more and I think we'll wrap it up if that's okay. Steve Ebbage. Hi, Steve. Would love you reading with John. Thanks for joining us, Steve. Sorry. Just before I come to you, Steve. No, I'll have to move on to it. Sorry, you've reminded me of something. Steve, would love reading with John, please. Right. I've got the song Neil Diamond, Steve, September Morn. So I know there's a specific date, specific meaning to September, possibly a birthday. And I'm going up towards the end, around the 31st. Thank you, Marion. You're very welcome. Up to around the face-to-face. I said September, didn't I? Right. But I also want somebody's passing in September. Somebody passed in September, Steve, as well. Okay, I don't know what year it was, but somebody passed. And as I've just said, I don't know what year it was. I've got a gentleman with a lady stepped in. Okay. Now, I'm going to describe what I've got here. When the lady and gentleman stepped in, I immediately thought it was a couple, but one of them stepped back slightly. So I believe what they're telling me is somebody in spirit got married twice, and there were stepchildren involved here. Okay. I also want to say to you, this is nice. I also want to say, Steve, you're quite aware of spirit because you feel spirit coming around, touch your head and your ear. Okay. And you can feel sometimes when you're speaking, it's like your voice is going to turn into somebody else's voice. Okay. Oof. I want. Have you ever had a? I'm asking a question because I can't be bothered not to ask you it. All right, I can. It's like they've put you in a plane as a pilot, so it makes me think you may have had a pilot lesson or flying lesson at some point. If it wasn't you, would you understand where the flying lesson comes into play, Steve? Do you understand? Makes sense? Oh, Mary, September is my mum and uncle's birthdays. Steve, are you still here? We need to answer. Can you? Yeah, I know it's difficult, but can you answer as quickly as you can? April's for passing. Blah blah blah. Has it all gone quiet? Has everybody gone to sleep? Okay, I'm really sorry then because I don't want to go on if I can't get that response. So we're going to leave it at that. Mary, I just want to say hello to you from a lot of people in spirit. My uncle Maurice, my own daddy was engaged. If it feels comfortable. I don't normally do this, Mary, but it doesn't matter tonight. This time of night, it's been on the go for 2.5 hours now. So it's like, if it feels comfortable, take it. All right. Thank you, everybody. We're going to draw it to a close. Can't believe you all managed to stay here so long. Melissa, beautiful Melissa. Thank you so much. She's put the alien faces. Oh, bear with me. Hang on. Let's see. Last one. Let's see what the last bit is going to be. Okay, Melissa, I waited to see what spirit wanted to do, and I've got to say to everybody, I knew Melissa a little bit. I've just had this like scan. It's like a beam of light. Do you know what? Is it? You know the swords from Star Wars. It's like a beam. Somebody's standing next to me here, and this beam of light stretches out, and they've just sent that beam of light straight from my body, as if the light has scanned my body, and I've got a certain sensation with it, like zzz. Okay, and this is what they've just done to you, Melissa. Okay, so you will feel specific kind of like I want to say electrodes. Give me electrodes for some reason for you. And then boom, things are opening up inside me. Like if my chakras are aligned and I can see the light here, all that light as a channel's just gone and opened up there. And I've got the most beautiful feeling coming through, Melissa. Okay. I've got a lady who's kind of bent, crouched forward because her back wasn't too good, coming over to you. And she's sitting next to you, Melissa. Okay. She would have wore glasses. She's got some kind of birthmark, mole, something on this side of her face. Sorry. And she's going, I'm there, Colin. I'm there with her. I'm there. And she's just smiling. Okay. And there's some pets, possibly a dog, at least a dog anyway. Some pets coming over towards you. And we're just going to draw it all to a close. Thank you so much. That's it. They're just stepping back. Thank you so much. Sorry, I lost connection. You just, hang on. Let's have a look. Colin, I lost connection. You just given September for my dad's passing. I lost you. So it was your dad's passing. You see, September, because I got Neil Diamond song September Morn, and they changed the morn, as in morning, to mourn somebody's passing. That's how they just give me that, Steve. So is your dad? Well, your dad's been here. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. Grandmother shows me a lot. She's definitely there with a lot of love. So, Steve, just quickly, because there was something else, and I've looked. Hopefully, I remember. You'll hear it anyway, because I gave it. I lost it's okay, Steve. It'll come back again. I want somebody just showed me a Steve. Right, Steve. Would you know somebody now then? I don't know whether you've got American connections or not, because somebody just showed me what looks like a rifle. And they've taken, I'm standing here with a rifle, if I'm spirit, and I've handed it over to you. So I should imagine this took place many years ago. Maybe you practiced how to manage firearms or something of that nature. I'm not sure what it belongs to. That's what it appears to me as. And somebody's taken a hat off and put it on your head, Steve. Okay, it just looks like a cowboy hat, but I could be wrong. Like just plonked it on your head. There's a lot of American connections to you, Steve. Is that right? Francis, hi Francis. Oh, Francis is baking mince pies. That's not even funny, Francis. Mince pies. It's not even funny. Steve, have you got American connections? Steve Ebbage. I've got the taste of mince pies. And Melissa, lots of smells coming around you, by the way. My dad was in the army. That's what I wanted, Steve. Because he's taken whatever, for me it looked like a rifle, and he's put it in your hand, and then he's put his hat on your head. That's why I was cautious. So there's no American connections. Right. That's okay, Steve. That's why, because there was or there wasn't. Oh, my dad was well, Steve, he's coming over and he's shaking your hand. He is shaking your hand tonight. All right? And he's saying, well done. Not in a patronizing way or an embarrassing way. He's saying, well done. And he went, Colin, he could write a book on what he's been through. Okay? And he keeps going, he keeps holding his own. All right? And he's like, and he's pulling you forward. He's like, inviting you. He's going, pull him forward. He said, he wants you to step forward, Steve. Keep stepping forward. Okay? And the words is, you have the right to be in this space, i.e., you have the right to be connecting and working with spirit and sharing your gift with others, because your intention and your heart is in the right place, you're saying. All right? Yeah, I am as well, Steve. Got it. And he's going, come on, tell him to come forward, Colin. All right? And he's just put his arm around you. Now, you ain't got a picture up there, but somebody's got a bald head or lacking a lot of hair on the head. Okay, and he's laughing. He's getting me to laugh my head off, and he's going, "Don't laugh." And he's like, "Well, it's you what's making me laugh." Right then, all the best, Steve. Steve, was your dad's name Steve as well? Steve. Why is he just give me Steve twice? Why is he giving me his name? If he isn't Steve, then he's talking about your middle name. He's laughing over something because he said you can't see his full name here, Colin. All right, and your guides are around you as well, Steve. All right, chuck them cards out. Start playing with them cards. Okay. Well, what's for the name Steve? You must know something. Chuck these his cards. I don't know. I've got memories of playing cards, and I've also got like tarot, oracle cards. And he's going, tell him respectfully, practice, but just use them as a springboard, okay? And with that, I've got to go. Marlis, I'm sorry for those what's just joined us. Marius Lanty. I'll save you some. Yes, Francis, but no, he's funny. Hey, he's just not funny. Thank you, Steve. Playing cards, because he's got play. That's all I could see was these cards. And first off, he said playing cards, and the next to give me for you to start using cards. Not that you need cards; you can work with spirit without them. And for anybody still here, Francis thinks he's so funny about the mince pies, which is not. And I'm not in England, so I can't get my hands on mince pies, which are my favourites at Christmas. Mince pies, and they'll be ready. Well, they'll be kind of Maria. Thank you, Maria. Maria, you know what? You have to be careful with me because I can go on all night. Marie, I've got Spirit here just saying to you, tell her the answer is yes. Maria, the answer is yes. You're on a quest, Maria. Okay, and Spirit are just saying yes. Philosophy, Rish, why didn't you tell me you was here still? We could have got somebody through for you. Somebody would have stepped through. Thank you, everybody. Got to leave. Rish, lots of love. Just before we go, guys, and this one's for Rish as well. We're still working on all the information about our Egypt event in April 2026. Convergence with Cosmic Light. We'll be working with Cosmic Beings. That's all I can say at the moment. Rish, lovely to have you with us. Margaret, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll see everybody soon, very soon. We've got trance courses, mediumship courses, all sorts. Demonstration of mediumship, an event maybe on the 20th of December. Next Sunday we've got chat with Lizzie, and we've also got a chat the following Friday with Tony who's in Luxor in Egypt. Looking forward to that, both of them. So from Spirit, everybody, thank you so very much, and hopefully see you very soon. Don't know what to say. Humbling to say the least. Take care, everybody. Lots of love. Bye-bye.